Hello and welcome to our 10 at 10, which I must point out is also available to everyone. So feel free to obviously hop in, join us. And what we'll do is we'll be covering today's topic, but also we'll be giving you a little bit of an insight to what we've covered earlier on this week as well. Lisa, do you want to do the covering of last week?
Yeah.
Well, this week.
So in the week so far, we have looked at our personal visions to identify what we want out of life and out of our businesses and how our businesses are going to help us achieve that. We've looked at our business vision, which is all geared around our business and how to give it focus, give it direction, and try and achieve the objectives we need to support our personal visions and our personal objectives. Yesterday, we looked at how to turn those visions into smart objectives. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about turning those objectives into action plans. So why are we doing this, you ask? Well, good question. We're doing this because as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're all in business ultimately to make money. We might have other side views. We want to do nice things for society, nice things for the environment. We've got a purpose in life. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is also about making money and make sure we've got enough to live on and enough to pay for the standard of life that we want and the life that we want to achieve. So financial freedom means different things to different people. So for me, it means perhaps doing a bit of traveling. Don't know if you can hear that, but I think we've got the window cleaners in outside.
That's definitely what it is. It's not suddenly turned to rain.
Yeah, they normally come a bit later, but they're obviously early today. So the point is understanding what financial freedom means to us and then working out how we are going to achieve that. So we've all known people who've been in businesses that are struggling and they're constantly working from paycheck to paycheck. We don't want to live like that. We want to have the freedom to go where we want, to do what we want, to travel where we want, to see the people that we want, eat at the restaurants we want to do, take time off and, just go and smell the roses. So how do we do that? How do we take the objectives that we worked out yesterday? And don't forget, we looked at SMART objectives. So we worked out how to make them specific and measurable and achievable and realistic. So wanting to be a millionaire, Rodders, is all well and good, but how are we going to achieve that? Perhaps actually all we need is a comfortable lifestyle and earning, say, 100k a year. That'd be marvelous, wouldn't it? After tax, of course, because that's very specific. And then they need to be realistic and they need to be time bound. So I want to be a millionaire, Rodders is great, but
By when?
By when?
Yeah. And when I die and I sacrifice my pensions.
Yes, yeah. So all well and good. So we're going to look at how to turn these objectives into actions. Now, when I used to work for Hewlett Packard, and I've worked for some really large blue chip companies in my history years ago, and planning and business planning always became a very, very major deal. So we would often look at 1-year plans, 2-year plans, 3-year plans, 5-year plans. And in Hewlett Packard's case, we often looked at 10-year plans. Now, the problem with a 10-year plan or even a 5, 2 or 3-year plan is they're almost redundant as soon as they are delivered, as soon as they're created. So for the small business owner, I think the most appropriate thing to do, the most useful thing for us to do is, first of all, just start with a 1-year plan. Just work out where you are now and where we want to be in a year's time. Let's define those objectives and then let's start putting actions together to achieve those objectives. Now, if you don't change the way you behave and if you don't change what you're doing now, nothing will change for tomorrow. And in a year's time, you'll find you're in exactly the same place as you are today.
And that's the problem with long-term plans as well. You plan for something in 5 years' time. Don't need to do it today. I can do it tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't need to do it tomorrow.
No, I can do it the day after.
Yeah.
And it just drifts. And all of a sudden, you find that you're 3 months in, you're 6 months in, and all the time has gone. So the way I like to approach planning is to work on maximum of a year at a time, but make a year be a rough goal, a reasonable goal, an achievable goal, but not overly specific. So then focus on breaking that down into 4 quarters. What are you going to do in quarter 1 to take your first steps there? What are you going to do in the next 3 months in quarter 2 to take the next step there? What are you going to do in the next 3 months? So you build a quarterly plan, and then you plan that quarter in great detail, but you leave the rest more open so that you know what your end of year objective is, but you know that you've only got to work on this next 12 weeks.
That's much less painful.
Yeah, it's also imminent. So 12 weeks goes past really, really quickly. So it's much easier to focus on what you need to get done in the next 12 weeks or 4 weeks or 1 week if you set much shorter deadlines. It's a bit like having an exam or a dental appointment or something that something that you might have to get ready for, whether you're psyching yourself up for it or whether you've got to go out and study for it. A deadline that's looming is an incredibly compelling motivator. It gets you off your backside and gets you working. So the way I like to approach planning, especially for a small business owner, is to break things down into departments. So one of the biggest challenges of being a business owner is that you are the marketing department, the admin, HR, finance, production, you're the front of house, you're the back office, you're everybody. So you've got all of these hats to work with and to try and manage all of those to achieve your objectives. So if we think about ourselves almost as departments, so in order to achieve this objective, what does the marketing department need to do, which is me? What does the finance department need to do, which is me? What does the HR department need to do, which is me? But if you look at it in terms of departments and set an objective with each hat on, so somebody's got to look at recruitment, somebody might have to look at time management, somebody might have to look at getting those marketing adverts out, somebody might have to go and learn a skill to do that, or outsource it if you don't have the time or the capacity to be able to do that. But all of a sudden, when you start breaking it down into bite-sized chunks and think of yourself as multiple departments rather than just one person with lots of actions, you can see that perhaps the finance department needs to think about funding, which means that the sales department needs to think about getting more sales. So you can start thinking also about dependencies. So what I do is I create a big grid on a piece of paper, and or actually I do it in an Excel spreadsheet because of course I'm an accountant, so everything's done in an Excel spreadsheet, or Trello, because Trello is really good for this.
We're not stereotypical.
No, not at all. And I break things down so that it makes me think, this is what I've got to do by week 1 or by week 4 or by week 12, and this is what this department of me has to do to achieve that objective, and that works really, really well. So I quite enjoy that. So when you're working through, the chaps that are in the Bloody Brilliant Business Club, off you go and download your module, download your workbook, and start working through how to turn your objectives into action plans. And so that's the end of our 10 minutes today. Quite succinct.
I know, yeah, very much to the point.
10 minutes. So thank you very much for joining us for our 10 minutes at 10, and we'll see you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we do think we're going to do things a little bit differently. We thought we've covered quite a lot today or this week, and we thought tomorrow might be helpful if we did a live workshop. Never done this before in a Facebook live group, but we're going to try it and see how that works. So we'll take Bob the Builder is going to have a career change or some sort of life epiphany. We'll figure that out later.
Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis, probably. And then we'll work through his visions and his business vision and setting actions and objectives. So we'll do that tomorrow as a live workshop. So that could be fun, or it could be absolutely crazy. We don't know yet. I don't know. So thank you for joining us in our 10 minutes at 10 for everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.